Hey, y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. It is another Macro Monday, and today we are drinking Modelo Negra out of Grupo Modelo from Mazatlan, Mexico. Thanks for joining us.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another Macro Monday. It is the first Monday of every month where we review a macro and bring it to you. And this is another Macro Monday. I've got Jay. I've got Andy in the attic. I am Ben. What are we Macro Mondaying today?
We're verbing Monday. Modelo Negra. Not especial, but Negra out of Grupo Modelo from Mazatlan, Mexico.
Oh, mine open. Sorry.
It's time for that.
4 years of Spanish, y'all.
See. Yeah. See, senor.
And I probably still didn't get it right.
The thing is, you got it closer than Jay would have, so that counts for something, right?
That's why we let you say it.
Nice.
All right. I'm kind of excited about this because I don't know when I've had one of these, honestly.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
So, what is this beer? Well, it's a Munich Dunkel. So, 5.4%, 16 IBUs. Modelo brewery in English means model. And so Negra means black. So black model. Model being the standard, the standard bearer of what the beer should be. So that's what they've named their company after. This beer was first launched, it was like 1925, 1926. And it was on draft. And it was created by Austrian immigrants in Mexico. And that gave this recipe to them. And that's all I could find about Modelo Negra. Out of all our Macro Mondays, and with such an old brewery, this brewery is almost 100 years old. Grupo Modelo originated in Mexico City in 1925. And I had the least amount of luck of just digging up any type of interesting information. A lot of it was just dates of acquisitions and things like that. So it's a macro, and they have many labels and brands under their wings, under their umbrella. In 1954, they acquired Pacifico and Estrella Jalisco, two popular Mexican beers. And in 1925, they did the Modelo Especial, which most people know when they think of Modelo, they think of the Especial, which is now the #1 beer sold in America. It is not an American beer, it is a Mexican beer. But although Mexico is our biggest trade partner to the US, so it's understandable. And I can't blame them, because in terms of macro lagers and things like that, I think Modelo is a lot more flavor than some of the US macros that I've had. 2013, they became part of AB InBev. And then 63% of the total Mexican market share after AB InBev deal. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm not in business and corporate takeovers, things like that. Modelo Grupo or Grupo Modelo imports the AB InBev products to Mexico, though the what is called Constellation brands in the U.S. is what imports the Modelo brand to the U.S. So they don't use AB InBev to import to the U.S. They use this Constellation brands. It's puzzling. It's not my world of expertise. So
Yeah, I don't understand the differences. I mean, it seems like there's a percentage that's owned by AB InBev, and then there's another percentage that's still the Modelo Group or whatever you called it. So yeah, it would have to do with all the M&A and whatnot.
So we've done another Mexican brewery. We did Dos Equis for another Macro Monday. But I thought this was interesting. Before they made the deal with AB InBev. Yeah, the Grupo Modelo had 63% of the total Mexican market share. So they were a monster. Yeah. And when we listed off on Dos Equis, they had a good bit of brands, recognizable brands under their label too.
Yep. So they had Tecate and several of the big names.
Yeah. It's really interesting that there isn't more information.
Yes, because we had a good amount of information. It was really cool stuff about the Mexican Revolution and families at war taking over the brewery, and they had to flee to Texas, and then Russia had to help broker the family getting the brewery back. It was cool stuff. So
for Dos Equis, I mean,
Dos Equis, Grupo Modelo. It's like all business all the time. Blah blah blah. Boring.
Maybe they don't want you to know. I mean,
yeah,
I would be
they got some
curious.
dirty secrets.
Do they have lions on that label? Is that right? Looked at that correctly. They're holding up the Modelo.
Yep.
Right on the edges. Roar.
Yeah. I mean, and I would love to know about the uniqueness of the bottle as well, because it's a non-standard type.
I think it's really interesting that you said this was a Munich Dunkel, right?
Mm-hmm. Got the little.
So I mean, and you obviously talked to that as well, but yeah, I would never would have thought that was.
Well, the Austrian immigrants for this one, there was a German immigrant that was the brewer for Dos Equis.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So who is has anybody not had this one?
It's been like 6 or 7 years, 7, maybe 8 years since I've had it.
I feel like I've had it, but I don't know for sure. I'll go first. I think this one's for a macro. This one I think is really good. Actually, I think it's light, it's crisp, but it's got some flavor to it, and a little darker in color is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's good. Is it a macro? Does it still taste like a macro? Yes. It doesn't. The flavors don't pop, don't smack you in the mouth the way something from like our advent calendar would, or something that was German traditional. But that being said, I think if I was now selecting a quote unquote macro from a list, this is definitely one I'm going to look at a little more if this is an option versus some of the other bigger macros, if I'm at a place where that's what they serve. I'm having a really hard time coming up with a number for this one because I think it was more flavor than I expected. Put it that way. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it's actually good. I would drink this again. I bought a 6-pack. This is not going to be one of those 6-packs of macros that just sits in my fridge until a family member comes over and drinks it, like most of them. I think I'm actually going to drink these. I actually did really like this. So 7.5.
Yeah,
Good.
how about I can't remember if it was a 12 or a 24 pack. I think it was a 12 pack.
All in.
Um, well, I truth in lending, it was for a family funeral, so um, the uh, I really agree with you. I mean, I enjoy it. It's I don't think of it when you think of it in terms of macros. Uh, I guess a lot of the traditional Mexican beers, their cervezas, they got pigeonholed into a category with your Dos Equis, your Modelos, your Tecates, your Coronas, and this one in particular, the Negra, it being that Dunkel, you would have never thought of Mexicans having the Austrian influence and getting something that could be a German or an Austrian type flavor out of a Mexican beer. Now, I've had this, dozens of times, I'm sure, over the course of my life, and I just didn't think about that or anything along those lines. But now that you put it in those terms, it's good. It's not something I'm going to drink every day. Um, Dunkels to me are just kind of every occasion. It's kind of like a lot of the Belgian doubles or others like that. I can't do them day in day out. I'm still going to be my IPAs, but this one is good. I'm going to give it a solid 7 for a Macro Monday uh, Modelo.
All right.
Well, I think in terms of a Munich Dunkel, it does pretty good. It's got that malt character to it, little caramel feel. Not bitter at all. Just like a Munich Dunkel. Dunkel meaning dark, fits the purpose. So we got a little German language for you. We got a little Spanish language for you. We're mixing it all up on Hopped Up Beer Review. But just like you said, Ben, in terms of a macro, you don't think of it as a macro, but it's not like a craft brewery that got taken over by a macro or over 25% in the US to get a distribution. This is a macro brewery making a pretty good beer, and it doesn't taste like a mass produced macro. I'm seeing more and more why Modelo is more popular because I drink the Especial. I like it. Um, I agree, Ben. 7.5. This is something to drink in it. I don't know why I waited years and years to have another one, because I've seen it at a few local Mexican restaurants. So I may go for that. This would do well. So I guess if you like to frequent a Mexican restaurant, this would go very well with countering spice if you like to have spicy foods. So I'm going to try that next time.
That is going to give us a 7.3 for the Modelo Negra Macro Monday. Definitely one, if you haven't had in a long time, you need to go out and check. Go grab one. It was really interesting. I forgot to mention this. I went to my local store, not my beer store. I went to a gas station and I tried to find a big one, right? Because that's what we do on macros. I don't want a whole bunch of these lingering in my fridge. They had every kind of Modelo except for this one, a tall boy. So I got a 6-pack. Now I'm really happy I got a 6-pack because actually it's a really, really decent beer. So you guys should go grab that when you see it because it's everywhere. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell because the next time Macro Monday rolls around, you're going to want to be notified about it. And cheersing that notification bell is going to get you that. Also, check us out on social media. All those links are down below. Come say hey in our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. It's a chat room, and we enjoy chatting with each other and the others that have joined us there. Lastly, we've got a link for our Hopped Up Beer Review merch. If you are so inclined to grab some Hopped Up Beer Review merch, like this shirt or the things Jay was just showing off, or Andy's shirt, same shirt.
Neither of
You,
which look washed.
you can check that out at the link below and grab your shirt that you don't wash either because you don't want it to fade. So, with that, thank you for checking us out on this Macro Monday. We hope you are having a great Monday wherever you are and a great month. For Andy and the Attic and Jay, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.